many differing opinions on The Catcher in the Rye. What are your opinions on the book and why?
Well, I don't like the book at all personally because it's real repetitive over like the same things. Like he's complaining like one section about something and then 5 chapters later something brings up the same feeling and he just repeats it, and I just couldn't get into it.
Fair enough. Some ways to dealing with change are having a positive attitude, making to-do lists, distracting oneself, have a healthy lifestyle, and establishing strong relationships with friends and family. Which of these do you think is the best way to deal with change and why?
I think having a positive attitude is probably the best way to deal with change, just because, when it's already bad and, you're looking at it in a good way, it can't get any, it could get more worse, but, as long as you're positive about it, you're smiling while you're doing, it's the best thing in my opinion.
If you had to give another way of dealing with change that was not listed in the previous question, what would you tell somebody?
I would tell them, you gotta do nothing. Like me, I'm just indifferent towards everything. So if you don't care, you don't care, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. There are many symbols in this book. What is one that sticks out to you the most today?
So today, looking back at the book, I'd have to say that cigarettes are the most outstanding symbol in the book, just because Holden constantly surrounds himself with this, which is showing the presence of death is just always around him, and this negative emotions just surrounding his whole personality and person just bring about the theme of the book and allow the novel to really inspire people in a multitude of ways.
Do you think this book should be banned, or do you think it's an important book that should be read by many high school students, and why?
I think we should read it, just because juniors, especially going into their senior year, you got to know how to act in your senior year, and Holden was just a perfect example of a senior. After you get accepted to college, you just got to sit around.
Okay. Do you find Holden likable? Why or why not?
See, I don't like Holden personally. He's kind of a scrub. Just because he's just like a negative Nancy the entire book. Just, he never stops whining and complaining. I mean, maybe if he was to just shut up just a little bit, the whole story would be happy.
Fair enough. Do you admire him for being able to skip school and stuff and just flirt with 35-year-old women whenever he wants?
I mean, I don't think he flirted, because he didn't get no girls the whole movie, the whole book. No, I'm sorry, not a movie. They wouldn't make this into a movie. It's a terrible book. I mean, I'm inspired by him doing nothing. I wish I could just hang around and, I have that, non-caring, I don't care, but at least, I want to be something besides him. Right.
And last question, what do you think is the biggest conflict Holden had to overcome?
Another educated answer right here. I think the biggest conflict was the word?
Yes.
Was an inner conflict within himself, deciding whether or not he should, really get more involved with himself, because he's having an inner battle, an inner struggle between his two clashing personalities. Should I go this way? Should I go that way? And in between is, that little love interest, him thinking of that girl the whole movie. He's like, both sides want her, but at the same time they're pulling away from her. The biggest conflict is the one he has inside himself.
All right, thank you. Good interview. What of these do you think is the best way to deal with change, and why?
Can you repeat the question, please? Are you allowed to pass on this?
Probably not.
He's a bad word.